Hello everybody, welcome back. In this video, we shall look at some ideas that you can use to spice up your color wheel game and also in the process earn bonus points, right? Now remember, every activity that we do has room for improvement, has room for innovation, and we reward that by giving you bonus points, right? So before we look at some specific ideas for the color wheel game, let us just recap a little bit about bonus, right? The basic rules about bonus, right? Number one, bonus comes after basic, right? You always earn bonus, right? Which means that you do something and you get a point for that. You never lose bonus. You always earn it, right? What can do for bonus is almost endless because every game can be extended in multiple ways. What earns bonus today may not earn bonus in future. That's because the difficulty level keeps going up, and hence, today something may be exciting, tomorrow it may be mundane. Yeah. Uh, Bonus is your opportunity to push yourself, try out new things, amaze everybody. However, please do remember rule number one, which is that bonus comes after basic, right? Now, this is very, very important. So first thing you must do is to understand the basic concepts that are involved, is to build a game which is, kind of robust, solid in itself, right? And then you can think of doing something magical about the bonus. Right now, in this, when it comes to color wheel, the basics really are about cloning, about moving those balls, the use of loops, and so on and so forth. Right. So once you're clear with all of that, you could look at some bonus. Like I said, the bonus ideas are almost endless, but I will give you some ideas that might just be helpful for you. Right. So these are the bonus ideas for the color wheel. Uh, so we'll look at a few ideas here, right? So first thing first, you can look at the way the balls move. Right now, in our game in the class, every ball moved at the same speed, right? So basically, we had the ball moving, say 2 steps at a time until it touches the color wheel. After which it used to basically jump over the black line, but that need not be the case. So you can have different balls moving at different speeds, right? So which means you have to use a variable to create a speed per ball. Or more interestingly, you can have a ball which speeds up, right? So which means it starts at say 2, and then of course you have to write a little bit more code. You have to have a variable to control its speed, and then the ball speeds up as it heads towards the color wheel. I mean, speeds up or slows down, or whatever, right? So speed of the ball changes. Yeah. Now the next set of ideas that I could think of is about scoring tricks, right? So like I said, if different balls are moving at different speeds, then it's also logical that we give different points to different balls, right? So it's a little bit like our catch game where every ball gave you a different point, right? A more interesting idea in my mind is that of a winning streak, right? So winning streak would be, let's say, if you get, let's say, 10 correct let's say answers, or let's just 10 times you touch the correct ball in a row, right? Then possibly you get an extra life, right? Now this will require use of variables also in a very clever way, and hence this will require some thinking, and hence it's a bonus idea, right? Now moving forward, you can think of adding some additional sprites, maybe like a magic ball which does some really amazing things, right? So magic ball appears say once in a while, and then you have to touch that ball with some specific part of your wheel, right? So if you do that, then probably you get an extra life, or something good happens, right? So that's another idea. Yeah. Then you can think of making different levels, and in fact there are a lot of ideas around this that you can explore. First thing first, that the ball may appear progressively, right? So maybe in the first level you get only red balls, then you get say red and blue, then you get red and green, and so on and so forth, right? So this will require you to use broadcasts, right, and control when the ball starts cloning himself, right? uh, then maybe the balls will get more and more frequent as they go along, right? So probably in the first level it's very slow, but then as you move forward, the ball becomes the rapidness with which the ball comes out, the frequency with which the ball comes out increases, right? So that will also be interesting. Finally, you could think, I mean, not finally, but say one more idea would be to think of some kind of a magic mode where, let's say, level one plays quite ordinarily. Level two, the rule changes a bit, that, if you touch red ball with the green ball, you get red ball with the green area, you get a point. You touch green ball with the blue area, you get a point. And you touch a blue area with the blue ball with the red area, you get a point. Something like that. So some kind of a magic mode where the user has to suddenly change the way of playing the game, and that could be a next level, right? uh, one more set of ideas that I could think around was more involved coding. And what do I mean by that, right? Number one, using lists to determine the corners, right? So I've been speaking about this. In fact, we have given two methods of determining or ensuring that balls come from the four different corners. But you can also use lists for this purpose, and of course we will cover lists in the later part of the course. But if you learn on your own and you do that, you will definitely get a bonus point, right? We will give you a link in this video description video, where you can a description of this video. We can take a look at that and probably get some ideas from there, right? And similarly, I spoke about this problem in another video where you have these balls overlapping on each other, right? And that causes sometimes confusion in the game, right? So if you write code to avoid that, that will also be seen as a bonus here, right? And again, there's a video, there's a link in the description that you can refer to for earning this bonus point, right? So really, there's a lot of things you can do, and I'm sure this is not the exhaustive list, right? So there are more ideas out there, but let's just look at this list once again in context of the game that we developed, right? So let's look at the code that we had. It's basically very simple. We have this color wheel which is moving with the arrows. Now the first thing that I said is that the ball movement, right? Now in our game in the class, every ball basically moved two steps, right? So until it touches color wheel, it moved two steps and always kept moving two steps. But like I said, you can have different speeds for different balls, right? So maybe green moves at say 3 steps, blue moves at 4 steps or something, whatever you like. You can have different speeds for different balls. Also, you can have a situation where the ball changes speed, right? So that will require you to use two variables to control this. Actually, we will do something like this in a later class, but you can use two variables to kind of keep changing the speed. So maybe move 2 steps and move 3 steps and move 4 steps and so on and so forth. And different balls can have different speed, right? So that's idea number one. In terms of scoring, right now, the moment you put different balls moving at different speeds and so on, then it's also logical that you give a different point to every ball. So here the score changes by 1 for every time, whether it's red ball hitting red area, green ball hitting green area, and so on and so forth. But you can play with this and make it like a little bit like a catch game. So there could be red point, there could be green points, there could be blue points, and that could also change as the game goes along, right? So that's the second idea. The winning streaks idea is something which is a little bit different. So what I mean there is that, let's say I'm playing this game and I'm earning points, say one at a time. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I earn 10 points in a row, right? So the moment I win 10 points in one row, I will, let's say, get an extra life, right? So that's like I had a winning streak. To do that, you will have to basically create a variable, maybe, which is keeping track of how many consecutive points you have scored, and that streak will get broken the moment you lose a life, right? So you'll have to do a little bit of careful coding to create this variable called streak, like, or a combo kind of thing, where the moment you lose a life, that streak gets broken, and at that point you check whether in this logic you also check whether you have gone more than 10 points in a row, for example, right? So that will require some amount of work, and hence certainly it's a nice bonus to do, right? Then we can think of, I told about using a magic sprite. Well, so here we have 3 balls, red, green, and blue, but you could have a fourth one, right? Which is maybe appears very, very infrequently, right? But when it appears, right, it appears in some kind of magical form. When it appears, you must touch it, right? So one possibility could even be that it appears from somewhere else, right? Maybe from the center or from one of the other corners, right? So you have to be on a lookout for that. When it does appear, right, you try to catch that from and that rule should be available to people. If you catch that, you get a magic point, right? But I must caution you at this point that if you add too many things to this game, too many sprites, too many dots falling around, there is some kind of inherent beauty in this game, which is its simplicity, right? So strike a balance. Don't try to clutter it too much. Don't try to make it so hard to play, because it will lose the charm that it has, right? So but nonetheless, that's a bonus idea, right? Then I talked about different levels, right? So remember, here in this game, all the balls start cloning whenever the flag is clicked. They wait for a random time, right? This code, because we duplicated, so the code is basically same for all the balls, right? But this need not be the case. You can have a situation where you start level 1 with, say, only one ball, right? So maybe only the red ball, right? Probably after some time, maybe score reaches a certain point, so you can use your wait until so we have this wait until for the ending of the game, but you can also use wait until, say, score reaching certain point, right? Now once the score reaches a certain point, you can say, okay, now we will have red and green, right? So which means green starts cloning in level 2, and so on. So blue starts cloning in level 3, and so on and so forth, right? So you can have a situation of that sort. You can also control with levels. You can also control how frequently these balls appear, right? So right now it's always set random 5 to 10, but possibly it's a little bit like our Chrome Dino, where we speeded up the game at some point. So you could do some idea like that, right? You can have a situation where in level 2 probably these numbers change. So again, you'll have to use variables and broadcast to do all of that, and hence that's a bonus. Then I talked about this magic mode, which I think it's quite interesting. So maybe after some time, and the instruction should be clear to the user. After some time, probably red ball needs to be touching the green area, right? So which means that you'll have to change this coding quite carefully. You'll have to use it again. All of this will require broadcast, right? You have to use that, change this coding. Maybe red can touch green or red can touch blue, right? Now, that will be interesting. But whenever you do something like this, right, any of these magic ideas, these bonus ideas, which change the rules of the game, please make sure that you add those instructions in the project page, because otherwise the user wouldn't know what is to be done, right? And why did the game change, right? So always two things to remember: that keep the game uncluttered, number one, and number two, add instructions so that user can follow, right? uh, then finally I talked about more involved coding. So this is really about how we send the balls to different parts of the of the four corners. Basically, we looked at this one method, which is like a two coin tossing method. We also looked at this method called the corner method, which is, I think, probably a little bit simpler, right? Which can be simpler to understand. But there's in fact a method using lists, right? I'll put a link in the description of the video. You can look at that. Use it only if you're clear with lists, right? We will cover lists in a lot of detail in the later part of this course. But if you want to try that right now, you could look at that, right? And you will get a bonus for that. Yeah. On a similar note, we have in this particular code, we have this, we have a check for balls falling on top of each other, right? Now that's a very interesting problem that comes up. So I made a video on that. I'm putting a link in the description. Basically, you have to delete these clones as soon as they start if they touch each other, right? So you figure out if they're touching each other, and then you can delete this clone. So you can do it in this method. There are other methods also of doing it. If you do any of those methods, I will treat that as a bonus activity, right? So with that, I will wrap up this video. The most important thing really is that you enjoy this process. You do not get let's say overwhelmed by what's going on. So go at a pace that you like, right? Get the basics thing in place, and then if you think you have room to do bonus, go ahead, shoot for it, right? There's no compulsion that you must push yourself so hard that you feel stop enjoying this, because the moment you stop enjoying the process, your creativity will drop, right? So enjoy the process, enjoy programming. This is a very, very creative enterprise, and you will really excel at it, right? All right, thank you very much. Take care.